right, 6 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Wednesday morning. Robin, the one thing I am not is daring in the dining room.
Oh, that's a good title for a book.
I am not daring in the dining room. If there's something there I don't recognize, or if it's like made out of an animal that like it's not a cow, then then I have hard. So so if that's true, then I'm definitely not creative in the kitchen. I mean, I can fry an egg. And I could do toast. Toasted eggs it's a wonderful invention. But maybe I could be more creative. There's a book here called Kitchen Creativity. Karen Page is the author of the book. The subtitle is Unlocking Culinary Genius with Wisdom, Inspiration, and Ideas from the World's Most Creative Chefs. And it looks like it's got tons of photographs in it. It's a best-selling, award-winning book. She is a best-selling, award-winning author.
Yes.
Or one of the two. So let's say good morning to Karen Page. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
Happy New Year.
We were going to rub in how warm we are.
You actually got it right both times.
Where are you? Where are you calling from?
From New York City, yes, where we're still celebrating the fact that Kitchen Creativity just won the Gourmand World Cookbook Award.
Wow.
Oh, congratulations.
That is awesome. So,
Thank you.
So you heard me talk about myself. Could I benefit from this, or do I have to be Anthony Bourdain?
I think anybody can learn to become more creative. All of us are creative, whether or not we think of ourselves that way. And so because creativity is the number one trait that most CEOs say that is the most important skill for success in business and certainly in life, yet only 1 in 4 of us believe that we're at our creative potential. It's a book that really will help anyone become more creative, whether in the kitchen or outside the kitchen, just by using some of the best practices that are put forward by some of the world's most creative chefs.
Is the creativity observed through the palate or through the eyes?
Well, that's a really good question. I think, as they say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I think so. Is this true in terms of our palates? Each of us has individual preferences, what we love to eat, and you might love strawberry shortcake, and the next person sitting next to you might be allergic to strawberries and really recoil from that same delicious strawberry shortcake. So it's really a matter of individual perception.
But I mean, somebody experienced like yourself or any established chef, I guess. I mean, do you put something? You look at it, okay, it's creatively displayed. But when you actually eat it, do you say, "Oh my gosh, they mixed in here some vanilla"? I don't know. I don't even know how to ask the question. But can you tell, like when you're tasting something?
A lot of people who are successful in the food world, whether restaurant critics or professional chefs themselves, have really done a lot to develop their what we call the outer senses, the senses of taste and smell and texture, which is experienced through touch, even appreciating the visuals of a dish through sight, and texture is often experienced through the inner ear. You hear the crunch of an accent in a dish, a crouton in a salad, and that's something that brings us almost an auditory pleasure.
And you talk
That's
about,
true, yeah.
and people are always so worried about pairings. They think, if they serve one kind of entree, they have to have a special kind of salad or appetizer to go with it, and also a beverage.
Exactly. And in fact, that is something that we explore in Kitchen Creativity under what we call Stage 2 or alchemy, which is about converting the common into the precious. How do you bring out the very best flavors of whatever it is you're cooking or whatever it is you're serving? And we wrote a book called The Flavor Bible, which is a huge bestseller and a James Beard Award winner, that talks about, it's an A to Z guide to hundreds of ingredients and the herbs, spices, and other seasonings that best enhance each of their flavors. So if you're looking to bring out the best in a tomato, not to necessarily turn to vanilla. You would more readily turn to something like basil or something like mozzarella cheese or one of those other classic combinations with tomato. And so same is true. We wrote a book called What to Drink with What You Eat, which is all about food and wine pairing, probably the most awarded book on food and wine pairing in the world. And that tells you if you've got a plate that's got mushrooms in it, that Pinot Noir is probably going to be just the right wine that you want to reach for to bring out the best flavor of those mushrooms.
You know, we broadcast to a community that has a lot of retirement homes, and it's not your grandma's retirement home, or at least when I was a kid, it wouldn't have been my grandma. I mean, they're like 5-star hotels. So we had an opportunity during the Christmas season to go to one of them. Robin and I play music, so that's why we were there.
Oh,
and the chef there, I mean, it's like you're eating in a big restaurant. It's beautiful. I mean, not just how it tastes, but how it looks.
absolutely, because all the sensory aspects come into play in a great dish. It's really about all aspects of it, the flavors that you bring together, what you serve in the glass next to it, but also how it looks and how it's presented. And a lot of times the best chefs are really pushing the envelopes in terms of coming up with, creating their own plates. They will work with craftsman potters to create plates or to create these
Really?
Things to serve there. And I say things because, we just went out to Los Angeles. We're eating at Vespertine, which is Pulitzer Prize-winning critic Jonathan Gold's #1 restaurant in L.A., and he's pushing the envelope. The typical idea is that you serve something on a white plate that serves as the canvas for the painting, so to speak, when it comes to a great dish. But he's serving things that are kind of trapped inside these black earthenware crevices of these things, and that it's so hard to even explain. It's sort of like, sticking your spoon in a sculpture to eat something that you literally can't see. So he's breaking the rules that way, and that's a really wild aspect of kitchen creativity. But I think there's room for all of it in the world, all aspects of how do you serve something that no one's ever seen before. He plays his wild music while he's serving it. But just for someone who wants to eat something different on a Tuesday night, you can apply the same principles of creativity to add a new compatible flavor, or to serve it with a new compatible wine, or to give it a different twist, like your eggs and toast that you love so much. You can switch up something else for the toast. If you usually have whole wheat, you can switch it to, another a whole grain or something else. Or instead of a piece of toast altogether, you might be willing to switch to a toasted croissant or something else that gives it a different flavor, takes it to a different place. Maybe you'd even be willing to switch it up for a tortilla, and that'll open up a whole other set of flavor compatibility. So who knows?
And how do you tell the cook that whose motto is, I know mine is, sometimes little is good but more is better, because sometimes I just like throwing things in there.
Mine too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times, we have a section in the book on what we call flavor bouncing, which is the idea that's put forth by Chef Grant Achatz of Alinea in Chicago, which is on the list of the world's 50 best restaurants. And the idea is that whatever ingredient you take and you put together, which he has named our book Culinary Artistry his most used cookbook, and that also has the idea put forward of you take one ingredient that goes well with another ingredient, and if you add a third, you make sure it goes with the first two. If you add a fourth, you make sure that flavor is compatible with the first three. And so you can go on and on, almost indefinitely, as long as each and every flavor is compatible with all the flavors that came before it, which gets a little tough after 3 or 4 or 5 flavors.
Nice.
So you kind of, you're safest to end there, but you can push the envelope if you've got a good guide like the Flavor Bible to guide you through to those compatible flavors.
The book is called Kitchen Creativity. It's written by Karen Page. The photos are by your husband, is that correct?
Yes, Andrew Dornenberg, who co-authored the first 9 books that we wrote together, and then has switched to becoming this really talented photographer that I'm thrilled with the photos he did for this book.
So I have the cover of the book on the podcast so people can see what it looks like. I got that off of Amazon, where I noticed you have some really good reviews. Do you have a website you want to tell us about?
Our website is KarenandAndrew.com, which is also our Twitter handle and our Facebook handle, and we're at the Flavor Bible on Instagram.
Oh, KarenandAndrew.com. Well, that's sweet. Karen Page, thank you so much for being on the air with us today. I'm hungry now.
Thanks so much. Good eating in 2018, you too.
Thank you, Karen. All right, we'll be right back.
We all know the importance of good health, but we may not know the latest advances in medicine that are available to us.